The death of John the Baptist. Herod Antipas, the ruler of Galilee, respected and feared John the Baptist, but his wife, Herodias, hated the holy man because he had spoken out against her marriage to Herod. Machaerus Fortress. Herod Antipas's hilltop palace is shown here from an aerial perspective. It lies to the east of the Dead Sea in what is now Jordan. Although the New Testament does not say exactly where John the Baptist's imprisonment and execution took place, a Jewish historian named Josephus claimed that this was the site. "It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife," John had told Herod one day. Herodias wanted to have John put to death for his insolence, but Herod refused. He admired John and knew that many of his people held him in the highest esteem and thought that he was a great prophet. Herod did not want to risk an uprising, but after much persuading he did agree to have John arrested and put in prison. Soon after, a huge banquet was to be held in the palace to celebrate Herod's birthday. It had taken months of planning. The guest list included all the highest officials and the most important men in the whole of Galilee. The leading lights of the Roman army would also be there in full military dress. It would be a glittering occasion. When the great day came, all the guests sat down to a sumptuous feast. The finest wine flowed and musicians played on their harps and lyres. Then Herodias' young daughter, Salome, appeared in front of her stepfather and his guests, a picture of beauty and grace. She smiled sweetly to the king and started to dance for him, her dress floating around her and flowers nodding in her long dark hair. Effortlessly she turned this way and that, holding her tambourine high in the air. Everyone watched, entranced by her, and Herod himself was spellbound, unable to take his eyes off her. When she had finished, he beckoned her over and kissed her fondly on both cheeks. "Whatever you ask shall be yours," he promised, "even half my kingdom," and he swore this on oath in front of all his guests, raising his goblet of wine. Salome ran over to her mother, Herodias, who had been watching her daughter dance. "What shall I ask for?" whispered Salome. "The head of John the Baptist on a plate," said her mother. Salome went straight back to Herod and repeated her mother's words. "I would like you to give me the head of John the Baptist on a plate," she said. Herod looked at her in horror, but he had sworn an oath in front of all his guests and he had to keep it. So he gave orders for his executioner to go to the prison to behead John the Baptist. He waited, sick to his stomach, while Herodias gloated. At last the doors opened, and a servant entered carrying the bleeding head of John the Baptist on a large silver platter. A trail of blood stained the marble floor as he walked toward Salome, who reluctantly accepted her prize. She walked across the room, blood dripping around her feet, and offered the platter to her mother. Herodias gazed at the severed head of John the Baptist, and her dark eyes gleamed with satisfaction. As soon as John's disciples heard the news, they went to the prison and took the body of John the Baptist and laid it in a tomb. When Jesus was told, he took a boat and went away to mourn and pray for his cousin. The Beheading of St. John the Baptist, oil on canvas, by Niccolò de Simone. Understanding the story. King Herod must keep his word because he has sworn a public oath to honor whatever Salome wants. The terrible beheading of John the Baptist is devastating to his cousin Jesus. This event is a turning point in Jesus' ministry. He tells his disciples to spread the same message as John, but he also gives them the power to perform miracles. Greek dancers. In Jesus' time, the cultural influences of both Rome and Greece were apparent. It was customary for the Greeks to hire female dancers to provide entertainment at special feasts and celebrations. The scene of young women dancing is taken from the lid of a Greek vase.